Welcome. I am Crime Queen, and if you are joining us for the first time, it's the channel where we have fun with words and numbers, numerology to be precise. This is where we actualize self-full love with the use of scriptural references and, of course, our life experiences. Now, of course, when I say our life experiences, I mean we see how those things have impact on our lives and how we can either choose to continue using them or look at them different ways and basically make more informed choices. So that's what we're about on the Crime Queen channel. Yeah, we go in crime. So if you're new, as I say, this is really a depiction of Mother Eve. Now, being the serpent that she is, she tends to change her exterior or her character because she's everything. She can be gentle and she can be sneaky, she can be sly, she can be slippery, she is all of those things. She's the spokesperson, she's the said God. She is sweet, she is sometimes shy. Oh, that's Mother Eve. Okay, all the S word, that means she's also sexy. Of course, because the story of eating of the fruit really is all of is a sextile interaction as well. So that's Mother Eve. She's just really great. The more I get to understand her, is the more I get to understand my makeup. And of course, I like what I see in myself. And I hope, you get to discover more of yourself and your characteristics too on this channel. Now, even with this template, and I shouldn't say even, well, even yes, that's another thing. We have been given a sort of connotation about the word even as though it was secondary, like a secondary, an afterthought. Basically, even is really Mother Eve in action, putting things on an even par. That's what even is. It's getting the morning and the evening coming into the oneness of the day, meaning day and night, or even top and bottom, the polarities. So that is even. Now, isn't that something we should have as a primary way of looking at the word even? This is why we say everywhere Mother Eve is there. Even I have a list of words I'm going to sleep into, of course, sleep into sleep as well, because Mother Eve sometimes is asleep, and that's when we are really being naughty. And when she wakes up, well, all hell breaks loose, literally. I like that. Okay, so just to give you a little flair on this template, because will do this sort of periodically, but I do have templates to numerology on the Crime Queen channel, of course. And of course, these series that I have just begun, I have been looking at the magic of the numbers. So it's the magic of 1, the magic of 2, and some of the numbers, of course, we have done like 7, for instance. I have done 5 presentations on 7. Now, I thought I had little to say on 7, but 7 really demanded. That's what 7 does. It demands to be recognized, a bit like 3. And it's like, with its head up, and it's saying, don't you see me? If you don't do as I say, I'm going to chop you, because 7 is an axe. Yes. Which reminds me, is the word ask. Okay, axe. A-X-E. That's what I do. A-X-E. So that would be 6, 5 plus 1. Okay. So it's really 3. And I did say it's like the 3 right here. Okay. So 7 is like that. And that's the thing, when we get to understand the characters of the numbers, it becomes easy to recognize their makeup, even by just looking at them, so we could have the meaning of their character, how they play up. Okay. And this is a depiction of, should we say, well, all of us, we are the one. We are made of dots. So that's another depiction of that which we are. So whoever had put the dots in us, oh yes, I just completed a presentation about circles. I should have put it as circles, but it's really where the 14 gods that I discovered in Genesis. I love to say that, and this is where perhaps I'm just going to get my flair, whatever it is. I'm doing mother Eve here. I'm doing the said God, let it be known that I discovered 14 gods in Genesis of chapter 1 and 2. Oh my, let it be. Okay. And so basically there's 9 gods in Genesis of chapter 1 and 5 gods in Genesis of chapter 2. Now I know I'm not really the first, because the stories have tallied very, very well that it is the story of the Bible is that which was derived from the story of ancient mythical story of Osiris, and it goes on like that, because Osiris was chopped in 14 pieces and one of his penis could not be found. Now that reminds me, that reminds me, I'm probably going to have to just keep this as a because I was going to do number 8, but it may well just tie in, because that's what happens. So wow, let's just 1 minute, please. Okay. So Osiris, R-I-S, I believe that's spelled correctly, Osiris. So this is 19916. Now we can always see when there is something phenomenal about the nines, because it's already saying this is where birthing is happening. There's rebirth, there is newness, there is something, an evolution, genesis, or whatever it is happening here. And also it's like a full cycle, because the 2 9s here, and at the ends, well, we know the 6 here is the wholeness of who we are. So that in itself has made, that O has made a declaration that the rest of these numbers are really the formation of this hair. So in essence, we have 1 plus 9 is 10 here, and 1 plus 9 is 10 here. Of course, this is male and female aspect right here. And that in itself is saying like there are 2 entities, or 2 gods, or 2, like we could say whether it was Jacob and Esau, or it was Cain and Abel. There were 2 somethings coming out of that, 2 something very phenomenal. That's what I mean. Or if not 6 in this case, because this also is 6. So I would say that this has a double meaning to it. So of course that would equal 8. So 8, I'm just doing this mentally now because I didn't count, but it was 10 plus 10, 20, and 20 and 6 would be 26. So of course that was, so we see 26, 2 plus 6 is 8. So the 8 is really wholeness, completion here. But we see from the 9s that for this new cycle to be birthed, the 8 has to break. It's like that chain have to break, and that's what was happening. We see that happen in people who are oppressing others or abusing others. It's like they get to a cycle, and then the addiction, or people who are addicted too. So a cycle happens, and then something has to break, whether it goes up or down, but there's a breakage of something happening here. So there we see, of course, we could say Osiris was the 8-petal star here. But in that story is that he was chopped in 14 pieces. So, and his penis or penis was not found, or was found, eventually found, and 13 parts of the body was scattered over different places. And then, of course, this is how we have the phallic sign, the phallic representation, meaning as if it is the eye of all things, forgetting that really it is still the serpent in its rigid form. That's what the serpent does. So I thought I would do a numerical value on that. So it's 7, because I just finished working with 7 as it goes. And this is 9 and 1. So this is 10 and 20, and it's 27. So that's what I mean. 27, 2 plus 7 is 9. And that's what I was saying. Something really profound is birthing. Although we see, of course, with 27, 2, 7, because 7 is wholeness and completion in the sense of creation. And so 2 is already telling us, as I said, 2 fundamental things happening. Okay. I did draw on that because we could see that 11 also coincides with Jesus. We have seen 11 coincides, of course, with our own makeup, in the sense of I did draw on 11. I looked at all body parts, like our 2 feet looking like 11 as well. But I did find out more correlations. It's just having to think of them right now, but we are also 11. Okay. So what I was going to say is that I'm doing number 8 as magic numbers. So magic numbers. Oh, but that's what I just meant. I'm only now making the connection when I said, okay, I'm going along with that because it just might tie in with what I'm doing. But Osiris happens to be number 8. Well, how brilliant is that? Synchronicity to the T. We just done it. And I almost kind of forgot. Okay, so we can see the magic, how magic happens here. That is magic. So I intend to do something, and then a thought comes to mind. I go along with it, and it ties in perfectly with what I'm saying, using the board that already has the 8-petal star on it as well, to give a strong indication that we are really in sync. We are in sync, meaning we are in headquarters zone. So on the Primary Queen template, which is the sacrifice template right here, I used to have my lights. In fact, oh, it still is like that. The lights go from the 1 and 9. And I have changed the position of the lights somehow, but we're still able to get the same measurement nearly. I'm having fun here. 1 to 9. Okay, right. So there we are. Of course, if you're new to this, this is the sacrifice template, and all of this here we have we have got 3 sections of growth and development according to this template. And just to let you know that basically when we were devising this, Spirit was really leading us to not touch this I'll just put a star, so not to touch this bucket area here. And also we change the position of the JAS, so meaning the A would be here and the J would be there. And we also change the C would be up here, of course, because it would be ABC. But this is what we've done. We've just gone along as we have been guided. And this is really the power of intuition at play right here, because otherwise the things that have developed from this sacrifice template would not have showed up. It would not have showed up the way it has at all. And we have discovered some very deep insights. We also use revelation and waters because they are very transparent. Okay, but back to this is that we see this as where the communion of Christ was had taken place. We see this as fellowship and of harmony and partnership and marriage and love, because it's where bonding happens. It's the bond, James Bond. Yeah, it's interesting, James Bond. Okay, but that's what where Christ was with the multitude on the mount and giving his summons, and they were listening to him, and he was feeding them. No, just not only spiritual food, but of course I'm believing all this was metaphors. But there was the 5 loaves or 5 fish or something to that effect of baskets over. It would be interesting to do a numerical value on baskets, but 5 is here. It's like we see that he was serving with the number 5, and I think there was number 3 as well. It's that the 3 would really help to take them out of the sack, S-A-C, out of the sack, and to come into the new state where, because he was more or less serving his mother. It's like cooking your mother's recipe, what she had taught you. You want to sort of charm your new date, or you want to cook her a lovely meal and to impress her. So you cook your mother's favorite recipe or your favorite recipe of your mother's cooking, and you try to impress. You are impressing the empress. So there you get into that 5. So this is of course denoting wholeness with the number 6, because you are 2 3s in that sense, trying to get together to be whole. Now when we say 2 3s, I'll show you in what sense I mean this, because you are 3 here, and then she is 3 here, and you are wanting to form 8 because you are really about to eat, and you are eating. When you eat, it equals 8, and then the next day you talk about the lovely meal that you ate. The word ate equals 8. So that's what happens here. There is the magic of 8. So 8 in this sense is showing you its ability to be whole. And I was going to say create. The word create is 2, is 11 in fact. So well, it came out like that, so we'll leave it like this. And so we can see how the 2 3s come here together. Now when it's 8, we can see that 8, if we were to say, or 8 W's or 8 U, because we are always faced with a U. You are faced with your W. So however you look at your W, like it was this way, or it will this way, then you are forming the whole. Okay, you come together. Since we are looking at number 8, we are looking at the magic of 8. So the magic of 8 is that, in fact, 8 is the real, 8 is what has brought us into this state. Like and state is quite appropriate because it has the S for Mother Eve. Now let's look at state. As I say state, because 8, of course, is that which Adam and Eve ate. So that's the story we were given. They ate. We are talking about food and so on. Okay. So this was about number 7. So let's just look at number 8. We can do 8 right here on magic of 8. So the magic of 8, let's see, okay, of 8 is that Eve ate, they ate of the fruit. So there would be in the mouth the fruit. So we have an 8 here. This is really like, and they ate of the fruit. But the basic thing is, when we eat of something, we can see that there is a lot that happens through the process of eating something. We handle it with our hands. Of course, a fruit would be with that you handle it with the hand, you handle it with the finger. So hand, I'm going deep. Hand is 8, of course, no wonder I'm going deep. 1, 5. I do this intuitively, and so I just go along with it. So how I'm guided, because Mother Eve means us well right now and really is trying with us. So 9 and 9 is 18. Here we see 1 to 8. So it's like saying the act of eating takes us already by picking up the fruit and having it in our hand is already taking us to 1 to 8 on the scale, the sacrifice scale. And this is why it is said that the beginning of creation, or the hands, I created you with my hands, in the Psalms and in the Bible. There's where God is saying, I created you with my hands, and finger as well. It's with the finger. So we have finger, and we also have fingers in the Psalms. So finger, F-I-N-G-E-R, is 5. So 6, 9. And there is the other thing we need to pay attention to. The word in is right there. This is where we could see the power of Facebook right there. Because Facebook have actually, because what it is, the F is giving it's giving an indication of what the whole thing is about. That's what F is doing right there. That's what I have discovered. Every letter, the first letter of the word, is giving you the whole character, or the end of the word itself. It's giving you the nature of the word. So fins, if you understand, fins are able of fish, for instance. You can see how that comes into play. So it's like you were diving, like Facebook, how you dive face down. That's what Facebook has done. And the word IN equals 14, so that it equals 14. So they have tapped into the very core of all the gods that were dormant. In actual fact, all the 14 gods, we have 14 gods from Genesis. So many of those gods that were dormant have now been resurrected. And because they were dormant, they still have a dormant kind of attribute about them, in the sense of being very elevated in many cases, in some cases, depending on which ones you are using, because some of them were really waiting to be activated to exhibit their full potential. Of course, not all of them have the same potential. Now, so we have 6, 9, 5. So as I said, the word in here equals the 14 gods here. 1 plus 4 is 5. This is where Mother Eve comes in the middle of the scale, because Mother Eve encapsulates all the gods. Then we have 7, and this is 5, 9. So let's do this. This is 5 plus 9 is 14. We can see how, this is another thing that I'm trying to observe. We have in finger, there is a mirror image right there with the 9 and 5 here and 9 and 5 here. So that's 28. We could see the 7. 7 is that which has the demarcation. It's like 7 is the mirror. 7 is, yes, 7 is that which separates. 7 is the serpent, in that it gives you one, it only gives you one aspect of itself at a time. 7 is absent or it's present. That's what 7 is. Oh, I meant to be doing 8, but we'll have to do this one as 7 and 8 because this I think is really good. Okay, so finger, so this is 14, 14, 28 plus 7 would be 35 and 6 would be 41. So 4 plus 1 is 5. Of course, if it was 6, if it were plural, it would be 6. 6. And there we see, so hand, this is where the Psalms are really, and the word Psalms in itself is really trying to tell us so much. I'm gonna have to redo this. So as I did make mention of the Psalms that Mother Eve is trying to tell us so much, it is PS, I start with S, which is understandable, SALMS. PSALMS. PSALMS. So Mother Eve is showing us that she is really in the Psalms, really in the Psalms here. And that's why the Psalms seem to be consistent in the Bibles as well. Okay, and we have the M's, which shows her attribute of turning round. That's the vibration. And of course here with the L, the L is that low. It is a lever, but it has the ability, it's the 7 upside down basically. The L is 7 upside down, ready to make a statement, and it's ready to, it is at a state of readiness, but it's not, it has not done what it is doing. It is making a statement. This is where Mother Eve says, let there be light. So it is really like doing the la 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 la. It's doing that sing, it's doing that song, it's doing that sound, it's vibrating. Yes, because it has also the numerical value of 3. So we could see it is it conceals the free, it conceals the free, not so much like the M does right now. So in actual fact, it is a really sneaky perspective of the S shape in itself. Or even if we were to say the A, which has 3 strokes and in itself also has 5 strokes. So we could say this is 3, we could also say this is 5 here. So these are things, when we go along, one can really look at the type of the letter and really read so much into it. So the A in the middle of the heart, which this is found in the middle of the word heart, is saying so much, where it also looks like it has 3 strokes and it has 5. Either way, whether you wanted to see it as the Trinity or you wanted to see it as Mother Eve, it is there and very much alive in the middle of the heart. Now, back to the hand. So there we see in the Psalms, and that's why, again, people read palms, and the word palms is in the hands, P-A-L-M-S. that is, of course, that means one, the reader is in the palms, and we have Mother Eve at the end. We are reading the Psalms, and of course there are more aspects of Mother Eve's presence with us. By then we could say that as if you have the two, male female aspect of Mother Eve right there, we could say that, and not forgetting to count ourselves in it. The Psalms are like sounds because most of them are songs. So basically that in itself tells us it's like the hymns and the tunes that that just worms its way into our being. Okay, back to hand, we say that 1 plus 8 is 9. Of course, when we do the numerical value for the word 9, it is 6. I won't do that again because I've done that. And of course, when we do the numerical value for the number 5, here, it equals 24, which is 6. So I'll do this one because I don't do this often. So this is 5, 4, 9, 6. So 9 plus 9 is 18, and that would be 24. Plus 6 is 24. 2 plus 4 is 6. So we can see why 5 now is 6. Now, I'd like you to note this here, how 5 is 6, and why it is so symbolic and relevant to showing how much it is really Mother Eve, because it still comes under the 5 column here. We have got 3 6s here, and that also reminds me that let's just have a look, because I did do these numbers. Let's see. I was wondering why there were so many numbers with the 24. So 5 is 24, and 4 is 24, and 12 is 24. So, so I get it. I get it. So 4, all right. But we do the cycles here, and on this cycle here, well, I think I get it. Okay, but we see how the 6s play out here. Where was I on this one? Okay. Okay, 6. Okay, 3 6s. We go into the Fox City. All right. So 5. Yeah, that's what I was showing you. That yeah, 5 really goes into that middle section where Mother Eve is, the serpent. And so here, if we add, we could choose to see 9 plus 5, which coincide right here. That coincide with the 9 gods. 9 plus 5 is 14, and it also not only that it's 14, it's as if the word finger is really reflective of that 14. Not as if it is the mirror image of that 14. Because I often wonder why there had been so many references made about creating with the finger, as if we were the dough being baked, but with the finger. But it's like the finger, but the finger also is that which you could write with your finger as well. So that's another thing, because at the beginning was the word, so the word of course is with the finger. Okay, which is very significant, and we can see that's what is happening today as well, that by us tapping on our phones with our fingers, all that data is being collated to creating like Sophia and God knows whoever else is happening with that finger. So we can see that on the 8th entry of Mother Eve, where she says, let there be light, and let there be the waters, and let there be the firmament. This is Mother Eve. That was Mother Eve's style, talking like that, saying, let there be. So she had all these gods. She had those 7 gods or 8 gods, whatever they were. And on the 8th one, she said, let us, on the 8th entry, she said, let us make man in our image and likeness. And that's where things changed. And then, of course, what we get is that God, or the God, or the created God, or a God, whether it was a God that was listening and went about doing whatever he wanted, because that's the jealousy as well. And it's like, and then he created him in his own image and likeness. And there was something about in his own image and likeness. It's as if saying he had owned certain, or there was a war and he won the war, whether it's the war for the bead to make us. And then he made us in his own image and likeness. And his image and likeness was like he, him, and he, and female, male, and he, them. He was just, I think he was just, okay. Well, anyway. That means all of those things give you the answers why sometimes you have so many people talking in your head and wondering why are you thinking one thing 1 minute and you're thinking the next minute, and of course who's pressing what buttons, and now you have other buttons being pressed. So on the 8, number 8, there's the magic of 8. Now we can see the other magical thing is there when Mother Eve says, let us. Us is the second word of the 8th entry. So that means the us equals 4, and 4 8s are 32. That's interesting. So it's the 8th entry, 8, 1, 2, 3, and there is where she says us. So if we did 4 8s, that would be 32. 32 puts us in that direct column where Mother Eve is. Now even the word let as well, which equals 10, is really a direct correlation in the same middle entry that I am talking about. As I say, it is that, and here we see how it is a symbol of infinity. It is a symbol of strength. It is a symbol of, some call it of stubbornness because it is so strong, it is so firm. And in fact, the word strong is actually 3. That means it has in itself 2 3s, as I showed before. Okay, so as I say, the tongue, when we do the numerical value for the word tongue, it equals 10. This is when, because Mother Eve is the goddess of language and speech. So there's 10, and 10 is balance, male and female there. And of course with 8 is also balance in that sense that it can be formed or used as the scale of balance. We have scale, of course, that's a derivative of fish being weighed on the scale. Hence the story of Christ and all all those things, but we won't go into that right now. So of course that is why we have the word lie in the story, but it's like the number 8 is, it lays on the tongue, because when the food is on the tongue, it lays flat on the tongue. It's not like you had it, you know, it mashes, it stays on the tongue. So there's number 8. There's another thing about number 8. Number 8 is nose. So let me give you a few words that number 8 is. I don't think I'll be doing many presentations on 8. It's really so, there is so much with it, and it really has a lot that I think I have covered in so many presentations. But so there is a lot I could say about it in that sense. It's the scale. It reminds me of, when I say the scale, it reminds me of Abraham. Let's just say that Abraham in the story of in the biblical story, because he is 26, and that means 2 plus 6 is 8. So we had people like Abraham, which was 26, and we had people like Moses, Moses. Moses was directly 17, and that is 8. We have the word Set, S-E-T, that equals 8. In fact, 17 direct, and so it's also 8. Of course, as I say, the word 8 and eat all equals 8, E-A-T. And the word I-E-Y-E equals 8. So I'll just do this here, 7, 5. When we add 5 plus 5, 10 plus 7, we have 17. The word God, G-O-D, is 17, exactly like it is for I. So we have 7, 6, 4. 4 plus 6 is 10 plus 7 is 17. So we see how we have those 17s here. So I, and this is what we believe in, like I have done before, that the gods are wanting us to get to that 5, which is the mouth. Mouth is 5. So you have to eat through the mouth. Or we also eat with our eyes as well. We see the food and we make a decision whether we like it or not. This is why it is said that and Eve saw that the fruit was good for food. Yeah, so good as well equals 5. So we can see that there is a relationship in the numerical value here. Okay. So Abraham, we can see the word bra here. So that means it's like a bra. So that is a bra. This is where those things have been devised, and the bra is what scales. Of course, it's the breast. So it serves as a, I don't know if I could draw this. Let's see. So it's a scale. Okay. Let's just imagine it had some fruit. So, wow. Okay. I certainly could do this. Okay. Okay. So it's the scale anyway. Of course, it's not so rounded generally, and it's flatter and stuff. But there's the scale, and it's also the bra. So that we can see where words like bra comes in. We could see where words like ham comes as well, because like of course Moses, okay, I can't see anything about Moses right now. Well, He did. Don't think he entered the promised land, is what I can say. There's so much to do on Moses as well. So to 8 is really. Did I do the numerical value for Psalms? Let's just do this. Magic of 8. Let's do this here. The magic of 8. Okay. So Psalms is 7, 1, 1, 3, 4, 1. Okay. So this is 5 and 5, 10, 17. Oh, yeah. So I did do that because that's why I was saying it's 8. So the Psalms is 8. So that's where we need to get our food from. So that's why the Psalms are very powerful, because 8 actually is where it's all set. It's like looking at heaven and earth in that sense. Well, yes, heaven and earth, Heaven. When we do this, and heaven has Eve in it. So this is 8, 5, 1, 4, 5, 5. As I say, wherever you see all these 5s, Mother Eve is very present. So 10, 15, 20, 28. 2 plus 8 is 10. Okay, 2 plus 8 is 10, 28. And then we have heaven, we have earth, heaven and earth. Okay, earth is 7, so let's just do that. 5, 1, 9, 2, 8. This is 10 and 20, and 5 is 25. 2 plus 5 is 7. 7, 1, and 7 plus 1 is 8. So we have here earth, because of course we have been associating ourselves with earth, because we bring heaven down earth, heaven down to earth. All right, but we can see how the power of 8 is formed with heaven and earth. That means that's where we become set. This is where Mother Eve is saying, let us make, because there's a shape for that. The word us is important as well. US, this is 3, and the US is really, it really amazes me how the US transpires in the Bible. Really amazes me.